All right, welcome everybody. It is, as you can see, the new format. Scary. We'll see how much I have to change this. I don't know. We'll see. We've been playing with green screens literally for the past, between Mouse's and mine, we've been playing with green screens probably for an hour. Mine took the longest because I forgot about things. But we got things all set up. We have a new episode of Geekamole for you. This is episode, what did I write down? 46?
I think so.
Episode 46. It is our game episode. Now, Miles brought to my attention that I may have inadvertently, arbitrarily, set our schedules off. In that I'm off. See, there it goes. This green screen is going again. In that we're off schedule for pretty much every convention by a week. So yes. We'll see. We might have to change that. I will take a look at the majority of conventions that we tend to attend or have people who attend for us, and consider possibly moving things a different week.
Or just make very special episodes.
Every episode is a very special episode.
Oh, shut up.
All right. So, Miles hasn't seen the new format, so just so I can explain it to him, our Geekamole logo is down below us. It's below you specifically. Yeah. And behind us and above, and sort of to your left and my right, you're looking the wrong direction. Look the other way.
I'm looking at my left.
Okay, your right. My right.
There we go.
So it'll be... I must be reversed. I don't know. But that's where the logos will be for the things we're going to be talking about. So, yeah. So we're going to try and cut this down to about 20 minutes. We're going to see. We may have to rush through some things, but let's start off.
Indeed.
With
I believe you have some interesting news about...
Digital Homicide versus the world.
So tell us what happened in Digital Homicide Lands.
It's amazing what happens after 2 weeks. Since we were just talking about this last time we were discussing games. Apparently, Digihom has decided to drop its lawsuit against, at least against the various Steam users it was attempting to sue previously. And it's shutting its doors for good.
So that means that they're also dropping their lawsuit against Thank God for Jim Sterling's son?
We don't know that for a fact yet. Apparently James Remine spoke to TechRaptor, and he said, quote, "The case dismissal was only due to financial reasons caused by the removal of our games. I believe the case was very solid. There were in excess of 140 false statements by the 11 Steam users, tens of thousands of posts harassing myself and my customers, 3 direct interference with written contracts with third parties by Steam users, some of which were competitors, and much more. A combined in excess of 25 reports were filed against the worst users of the 11, with no resolutions being found." So in short, he blamed Valve for financially crippling the company and rendering them incapable of affording to move forward with the suits.
I'm going to make a prediction. 4 years from now, they'll be running for president.
Let's not go political. We've been down that road. We're trying not to be down that road.
I just had to say. Sometimes the spirit takes me, and I have to say it.
If we're going political, they'll have to declare bankruptcy at least 4 more times.
Ooh, burn.
They are requesting a dismissal and a refund of their court fees. It's presumed, although not yet confirmed, that they will be dropping their suit against Jim Sterling. Thank God for STEM. STEM.
For STEM.
Thank God for stems.
You're going to talk about Fallout, aren't you, at some point?
I don't know. But at the risk of editorializing, but let's be honest, it's our show and it's what we do. Mm-hmm. Personally, if I were Jim Sterling's position, I wouldn't allow them out of this suit without covering my legal costs on top of it. Because at the very least, they need a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, I know.
For bringing such frivolous filings. I mean, I understand that their concept is, oh, well, we were bullied out of the industry. Trust me, you weren't bullied out of the industry. We went over this. There were ways this could have been handled so much more diplomatically. But anyways,
But anyway,
Moving on
past that dead, stinking horse. We have an interesting game that you might want to look into, and it is called Herald, and it is created by Wispfire. This game is set in the 19th century. It's a 19th century drama. It wants to explore the themes of colonialism, class, religion, race, and the point of view character is Devin Rensburg. I love that last name. On a ship sailing to the east, you will meet a whole bunch of different characters. The game is going to, it looks like it's going to be more on the adventure dialogue based, which is perfect for me anyways. But it is going to be on PC, Mac, Linux. You will find it on Steam.
That infamous PC, Mac, Linux.
Yes, the Mac, Linux. Oops, my light just almost fell. There we go. I don't know what. Pause the recording for a second.
I can't.
Oh. Anyways, live TV people. Anyways, no, I fixed it. My lights were suddenly going. Nyeh. In any case, it's going to come out on the first quarter of 2017. So keep an eye out for that. It looks gorgeous, and this is just up my alley. And it's an indie game, so
he lives for his indie games. All right, next up, heading away from indie games, to my bailiwick of MMOs. Star Wars: The Old Republic. They've just announced their next. I guess it's almost annual at this point. Last year we had Knights of the Fallen Empire. Now we're getting Knights of the Eternal Throne. So it's a new story-heavy expansion thanks to BioWare.
Will this have another gay planet?
The last one didn't have an additional gay planet. You're only having the one gay planet, so
I know.
all the gays have been concentrated on one planet.
One planet, and it's bright pink.
It's a rainbow color. It's got a rainbow colored rig around it, and that's where all the unicorns live. So this will be released on December 2nd. It will. Okay, spoilers for those who have not seen the end of Fallen Empire. It will continue the story set in the previous expansion. The last expansion focused on the sons of Emperor Valkorion. This one picks up in the wake of Arkin's defeat and his sister Valen's ascension to the Eternal Throne. The trailer, which recently came out, which just looks awesome, has flashbacks surrounding the mother Senya and Valen's childhood and eventual betrayal of her mother. Looks like we're going to be going to level 70 now, and we're reading something called Galactic Command, which details are a little vague on this. I looked all over, couldn't find anything too much, but it looks like these are going to be soloable raids with the aid of 3 companion characters. So we'll see. But as always with these recent expansions, these are premium, which means you must be paid in order to get them, but you only have to pay 1 month to get everything that has been released to date. So, if you want to wait till everything's done, pay for 1 month, 15 months, you've got 4 expansions. So, there you go, guys. Moving on, we're pulling everything back towards the indie game area. Burly Men at Sea. Now, if the title alone doesn't grab you, of course, this could give you the totally wrong impression about what this game is about, but basically you... I don't know why you could possibly get there.
I don't know why you could possibly, but this title...
After we talk about the gay planet, we get the Burly Men at Sea.
Anyways, enough talking about Burly Seamen. We have these 3 men who are... Oops, stop recording. Yes, stop recording, you stupid piece of something or other. So... this game has you joining 3 Scandinavian sailors on an hour-long adventure. Each adventure is different. You get to modify and influence the game based on, of course, your choices and your interactions with characters. You meet creatures from Scandinavian folklore. The art is kind of like a storybook, childish art, and it's utterly charming. You can get this game over on Steam for $9.99. I have played it, and it's absolutely delightful. You can get it on Steam, itch.io, and Humble Bundle. You can also get it for just $5 on iOS and Android. The developers are Brain and Brain, and I just love this idea for this game. This is something you really should experience. Each game is only going to take you about an hour, so if you don't have a ton of time to put down and you want to sit down with a charming little game, this is it.
All right. Next up, Bioshock Collection. Apparently, Bioshocks 1 and 2 have just received some significant PC-centric upgrades or options that were not previously available. So those new patches are up on Steam. This includes the ability to change the resolution, some adjustable field of view.
Because they had some serious issues with the PC version at launch for the collection.
Yep,
and performance issues.
It's apparently supports lower end graphics. It supports some of the gaming mouses that are out there. There are some reports of some ongoing issues. I didn't see very many, but there were some that complained of significant graphical errors. But as errors, that's the kind of errors because they're non-specific because they don't give details.
Right.
But then again, this is a PC, so it's not like we all have a standard console we can complain about. But PC Master Race going forward. Next up, Vigilantes.
Going back to the indies again. So if you've ever fantasized, if you've ever watched one of those movies from the 70s or the 80s where someone who lives in this downtrodden neighborhood or a downtrodden city swallowed up in corruption decides to take justice into his own hands, in a world full of darkness, a light shines, and all of that. Well, you can do that now. You can put yourselves into the shoes of Sam Contino in the game Vigilantes, which is a turn-based strategy RPG. It claims to have an old school influence at heart, and you can clearly see it. It is a game that is clearly inspired by games like XCOM and Fallout, especially the combat. I mean, old school Fallout, not the not the most recent first-person version. The game will be
old school. If you're talking Fallout 1, that was almost unplayable.
You just suck at games. How's that?
No, Fallout 1 was almost unplayable.
I had no problems getting through it. In any case, look up the game on Kickstarter. It is 28 days to go, and it's currently at $3,477 out of $5,601. So they're a little more than halfway there. The game looks pretty neat. I do like the aesthetic. This is definitely an indie game I would recommend that you throw a little love at, because I guess I just love the genre.
I love it when you slip into your British accent.
Oh, shut up.
Kickstarter.
4 years in North Carolina sanded it down. It occasionally still comes up.
Hey, my southern accent kicks in, and I never actually lived in the South. So
yeah, I was wondering, where the hell does that come from?
I was raised by Southerners.
Ah, twang. Okay. Twang, 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 twang.
Moving on.
It's you.
We go from it helps if I'm in the right. It helps if I'm in the right screen. This is what it gets for moving things around. Come on. Okay, moving on from Vigilantes to actual superheroes. Yes, I have to click the button. There's the hand motion. All right. We're getting. It would help if my notes would actually scroll with me. Okay, there we go. So next month, DC is releasing. I love the green screens. Are just gonna F with me today.
I will not move.
It's your green screen.
I am not moving.
It doesn't help. It will play with it later. But anyways, the DC Legends are coming out. This is going to be DC's supposed answer to the very recently decommissioned
for no reason whatsoever.
No reason whatsoever. No one can figure one out other than they suspect that somewhere in Disney that someone doesn't like fun. But Marvel's Avengers Alliance, which was recently discontinued, both versions of it,
and much beloved.
Much beloved. But DC Legends will allow you to, I guess, pick up with DC characters instead. It is going to be coming out from Warner Brothers Games in San Francisco. It's going to be released to iOS and Android. If you want, you can pre-register on their website. I believe you get access to Striker Wonder Woman as a gift for pre-registering.
I already pre-registered.
So there you go. But it's going to be a turn-based mobile RPG. So
I hope that this is something that you can play without the need of a connection or without the need of the server being up. Because I have recently gotten addicted to Teen Titans Go.
It's supposed to be exactly like Teen Titans Go, except more serious.
Well, beautiful. I hate the cartoon, the most recent, Teen Titans Go, but my God, the game is addictive as all hell. I love it, and it's charming. And if this game follows the same platform, no need to be online, all that crap. And even if they decide to not support it anymore, I can still play it. Then I'm going to be playing this game forever. I just hope that they add the Titans too. I did see a possessed Raven. The Raven with the 4 eyes, with then the orange skin.
Dragon's daughter.
Dragon's daughter Raven. So maybe we'll get to see the Titans there.
All right, moving on.
Moving on, very brief mention. This mention of this game really caught my eye. This game is called Kimmy, and we don't really know much about it. It's the next game from Nina Freeman. Some of you in the indie scene might recognize that name from Cibele, and also she was also the level designer of Tacoma. And it's a collaborative work with artist Lara Netzger and developer Aaron Friedman. And this game basically puts you in the shoes of a babysitter during one whole summer when you get to know this little girl, Kimmy. And that is as much as we know. You will be spending the summer meeting new friends, playing games, using found trinkets. The art style is, of course, absolutely adorable, and it makes it absolutely irresistible, at least to me. You can go and take a look at the website and sign up for updates. I think this might be one of the little sleeper hits in the indie scene. It will be released on Macintosh and PC this year, and considering there's only 4 months left? No, 3 months left in this year. I think it will be released soon.
I'm just going to say to game companies out there, please create larger logos, for crying out loud. Do you have any idea what I go through to make this show? I have to recreate half of these logos because they're so damn tiny. This one, at least was easy, but come on.
You know how hard I work this? I work my fingers to the bone.
If you want coverage... Make easier logos to grab.
All right, moving on.
So Berserk. Berserk's most recent anime adaptation has taken some heat for being too computer-generated, or more specifically for failing to capitalize on it properly because, as I understand it, the director is a 2D director who is using 2D tactics with 3D graphics. As a result, it's not been the most popular of series. But you can put that out of your mind because the main dish is finally coming. Koei Tecmo is releasing a very Dynasty Warriors style game from creator Kentaro Miura. There looks to be a variety of playable characters, ranging from Guts to Lady Farnese to Griffith to Casca. It is very Dynasty Warriors. You are just slaughtering enemies wholesale with magic and not guns, but swords and knives and everything. It's wanton bloodshed everywhere. So it looks very interesting. It will actually be available on Steam as of February 21st of next year. So Keep your eyes open for that and go see the trailer after the show.
After the show.
Next up, Masquerada.
We have Masquerada, Songs and Shadows. This is another tactical turn-based RPG. It is by Singaporean developer Witching Hour Studios.
This is one of the ones that Crash and I saw when we went to E3. Prax Prime, E3, I wish.
E3, you wish.
There's $200 flush down the toilet real quick.
So, as you probably saw over there, the game has a very unique look. Instead of going for the standard for medieval fantasy that we've seen over and over and over and over again, this game takes place in the world of Ombre, which is French for shadow, l'ombre. And the aesthetic is definitely more on the Venetian style of things, around 17th century Venice. And they have incorporated the whole concept of the masks and the carnival. And of course, that is when they have the masquerines. I don't know how to pronounce it, because if it's French, then it should be masquerines. If it's Italian, it would be mascherines. But whatever. Masks that grant wielders the power to channel elements and cast destructive magic. The whole plot is linear. It's pretty linear. There are no branching paths, but the game is pretty fun to play, and there's a lot of intrigue, and like a typical Venetian city, there's a whole bunch of people trying to put their hands in the pie, and things are about to blow up really well. Not like Venice, but like I say, I think that this game is a very welcome breath of fresh air in a kind of saturated genre where everything just takes place in your typical either full fantasy or Final Fantasy-esque type medieval town, and I think you will enjoy it a lot. It's available on Steam. You can get it in GOG as well. You can also buy it directly from the developers, and you can buy it for $24.99. Although right now I think it's on sale, but it doesn't matter, because when you watch this video, it probably will not be.
All right, next up, Dead by Daylight. Poor Matthew Coate. My God, he had to go to TwitchCon in San Diego last weekend and meet with all the fans of the game and all the broadcasters, and had to keep his mouth shut. But he was finally able to speak now that the time has passed, because he is planning a Halloween update for Dead by Daylight. For those who aren't familiar with this game, it is one where you either can play one of 4 teenage potential victims trying to survive and escape from the slasher, or you can play the slasher.
Of course.
And well, because it's literally it's kind of in the tradition of Evolve, where you have the indestructible monster, and then you have the 4 people who are trying to take it down, except in this one you can't take it down, you just have to try and escape it. But the Halloween update is Halloween, the movie.
Oh my God.
In as much as the slasher can now be played by Michael Myers. They are introducing a new suburban landscape for you to run around in. They are also introducing Laurie Strode. And this is all coming out in the most recent patch, which should be available very soon. And it looks like this is going to be the first of, hopefully, a ongoing series of slasher type
movie slasher
themes things. Who knows when we might see Freddy and Jason and Leatherface and all the fun people. So
yeah, for all of you people who play that shit, I mean that stuff.
I've as much as I don't play it, I've watched it, because you're just going, oh my God.
I could never watch that. I could never watch nor play. I'm just...
I can't play it, because unless I was the slasher, that just speaks to something disturbing inside of me.
It's the desire to scare and not be scared, I guess.
Sure. We'll go with that. Moving on to Psychonauts 2. So,
on the 6th of October, Double Fine Studios released a very early work-in-progress prototype of Psychonauts 2, which, the moment it was released, you could hear the shouts of joy of a million fanboys all across the internet. One of them, of course, was mine. Because now we actually have a tangible proof that this has been moving forward. and from what we've seen, it does capture a good amount of the spirit of the first game, which is never a bad thing. And the second bit of news is that you might remember when we brought up the issue that they had with Fig, that Double Fine could not get access to a large amount of the pledged investors because of an ongoing review by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. Fortunately for Double Fine, that process ended last week, and today non-accredited investors are being asked to pay for the shares they reserved. But even if Double Fine can reach those many hundreds or thousands of people, they still have no obligation to actually pay up, which is why Fig has promised to provide that money itself to Double Fine if need be. So good things for Double Fine. Good news at last for them.
All right, moving on to my final topic. Speaking of Halloween themed things, oh goodness, Outlast 2 has finally released a demo. The game itself has been pushed out to 2017, but a very substantially sized but brief demo has come out. It is an 8 gigabyte demo that lasts a whopping 15 minutes. Yeah, I'm wondering if that's just because there's a lot of the game in there and people just need to dig. I do not in any way encourage such illegal actions, but who knows what people will do of their own volition.
Or poor optimization, and the actual game might be like 64 gigabytes.
Yeah, that just harkens back to the days when we had 9 or 10 or 14 discs to shove in the drive.
Oh, the good old days.
Oh, the good old days. But it is something you can involve, something to tide you over for this Halloween. Apparently, just like the last game, you are playing an investigative journalist, although you're playing a different investigative journalist. And you and your wife crash land in Arizona somewhere, and you end up on a creepy farm in Arizona. I'm just gonna say, because there are tons of farms in Arizona. That's what I think of when I think of Arizona.
That is why it's creepy.
That's why it's really creepy.
Arizona. What are they farming?
And so you're being chased by cultists of some sort, and you're looking for your wife, who is also an investigative journalist.
Oh, wow.
Lots of investigative journalists running around. Why
in Arizona.
not? In Arizona, on a creepy farm. So there you go. I've seen the very end of it, the end of the demo on Twitch. I won't tell you what it was, but it ended in the guy dying. Because, it's a demo and it has to end.
Yeah, it has to end somehow.
But that death, he took a scythe to the nether regions and we got to see it. It was cringy. It was cringy. Yeah, I did not need to see. I don't know if that was just an accident of where they hit graphically, but yeah, cringy. Moving on to our last topic of the day.
And speaking of size to the bollocks, Ubisoft has actually... Okay, very brief background. 8 years ago, Ubisoft teased its fans with a video teaser showing Jade and Paige with a car broken down on the side of the road. And they basically told us, yes!
Protagonist from Beyond Good and Evil 1.
I was going to say
sorry,
that. I was building up to it, and you ruined the build.
Well, I'm sorry.
Oh, hush. Shh. And they said, yes, Beyond Good and Evil 2 is in production. And then it wasn't in production, and then Ubisoft proceeded to do the jerk move that it did for a long time. Well, if this sells well, we might go and do Beyond Good and Evil 2. Basically, it's held the franchise hostage dependent on the sales of another franchise, which sucked most of the time, because Ubisoft has had some serious issues with quality over the last few years, or the last decade or more. Lead designer, Ubisoft lead designer Michel Ancel has confirmed that Beyond Good and Evil 2 is now in development. This was revealed on the morning of the 6th of October on the Facebook page with from Ubisoft Montpellier with conceptual art, I believe. Yeah, it's a concept art. We have heard, of course, nothing more about that. All we've heard is the game is in pre-production. Stay tuned. And they haven't really said anything else. Whether Jade is going to be in it. I mean, it has to be in it, but, Paige and whatnot. So fans of the game are kind of finally going, oh, finally, we've been given this. Thank you. However, I want to caution you that just like I mentioned that it would be modern Squaresoft redoing Final Fantasy, this is modern Ubisoft doing Beyond Good and Evil 2. It most likely won't be as good as the first game, mostly because Ubisoft is now kind of the Electronic Arts of the North. But who knows? They might try to redeem themselves. But I remain very, very skeptical. I would not be surprised if the game that is currently in pre-production suddenly vanishes again and we won't see it for maybe 10 more years. But there's hope. Sort of.
We're so cynical here. We're
jaded. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's Ubisoft. And we have seen Ubisoft's track record. It's like... Okay, they're not as bad as Konami, Konami, but it would be like Konami saying, we're making a new Castlevania and it's going to, be a perfect sequel to the games that we made in the past. Except that, Konami as a company today is nowhere near the good game developers that they were in the past. And the same thing goes for Ubisoft as well. That's why I'm skeptical. If it had been companies that were more consistent and had not taken the long, dark plunge into mediocrity. But that's my last.
But who knows? They could surprise us. Going in with low expectations, never a bad thing.
That's true.
All right. That's it.
It is better to be... Then I leave you with the maxim of Geekamole. It is better to be surprised than disappointed.
When did we make that maxim?
What?
When did we make that maxim?
Just now.
Just now?
Going in with low expectations is better than going in with high expectations. So therefore, it is better to be surprised than to be disappointed. That is our motto.
What if I'm neither surprised? What if I'm not surprised and disappointed at the same time?
Well, then you're probably looking at a game from Konami.
Or I'm watching the movie that shall not be named. So, yeah. Come back next week. Maybe we'll be episode 47 with media. Are you traveling next week?
I am. Actually, I will not be here. I'm going to be missing 2 Sundays.
Alright, so I will figure out what the hell I'm going to do then.
Join us next week for Geekamole with Shadow Puppets.
I may have a guest host. I may be talking to CCCP by myself all 20 minutes. Or I could just, put myself right in the middle and just kind of just talk and say, hi, guys. Interpretive dance.
You could bring Crash in.
I could bring Crash in if I get permission for it.
Yeah, well.
It requires permission first. I could also talk to Nightstar, so who knows?
Or Fump.
Who knows? I have possibilities. We'll see. Anyways, so peace out, guys. This is it.